Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good morning, good noon, magandang gabi, magandang umaga, magandang tanghali, maayong buntag, maayong udto, maayong gabi sa tanan. Really happy and looking forward to have you all here. I'm very honored that you guys are joining me. And hey, just in time, my special guest for today is very special. She's actually from Romania, if I'm not mistaken, and currently she's in Ontario, Canada. So please, let's welcome Dana so she could introduce herself. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. And sorry for being late. You can hear me fine, right?
No, you just got in time. I just
Oh,
wanted, I was just checking. So yeah,
perfect.
so before we start, I usually do the sharing about Believe You Can, the book that I read. Um, but before that, could you tell us more about yourself, Dana?
Yes. As you mentioned, I'm originally from Romania, but now I'm living in Ontario, Canada for over 20 years now with my family. I'm a
Yes.
mom of two teenagers, and I'm IT manager by profession, and I'm also a digital business owner. So happy to be here with you today.
Just realized that my microphone was off. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying while I was on mute, this is the first time that Dana and I met. So imagine, like, you're part of our experience meeting someone online, but we have the same business. So I'm based here in the Philippines, and she's based in Ontario. So that's cool, right? So, anyway, we could talk more about that later. So, for today, the usual thing, we're going to go to our routine. We're now on topic 36. And anyway, oh, wait, let me put the banner first so everybody knows what the topic is. There you go. And today it's about invest in others. So, this is really related with the business that Dana and I are in. And as always, I usually start the conversation with a story, and it's been a while that I've been doing that. So for this one, we are doing that specific routine. So in the book Believe You Can by John Mason, there's a story told by Elizabeth. That's the name of the one who shared. Okay, let me see here. And she's there's a elementary teacher many years ago. Her name is Mrs. Thompson. As she stood in front of her fifth grade class on the very first day of school, she told the children a lie. And what was this lie? Now, she looked at her students and said that she loved them all the same. But that was impossible because you see, there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy. Teddy stuttered. Sorry. So Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play well with other children, that his clothes were unkempt, and that he needed a bath, and Teddy could be unpleasant. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson would actually take the delight in marking his pen, or rather, marking his paper with a bored red pen, and he would say, he would write there, Teddy is a, like, oh wait, until the last time. However, she reviewed some of the files, and finally she was surprised, and this totally changed how she looks at Teddy. Teddy's first grade teacher wrote there, Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has good manners. So he is a joy to be around. So that was from his grade one teacher. And then the second grade teacher wrote, Teddy is an excellent student, well liked by his classmates, but he is troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home must be a struggle. So, and then the third grade teacher wrote, His mother's death had been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest, and his home life will soon affect him if some steps aren't taken. So that was the grade 3 teacher. That was the fourth grade teacher wrote. Teddy is withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends and sometimes he sleeps in class. So by now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem. So she was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse when her student bought her Christmas present wrapped in bright paper and beautiful ribbons, except for Teddy's. So his present was clumsily wrapped in a heavy brown paper of a grocery bag. Mrs. Thompson took pain in opening all of the presents in the middle of the class, and a few of the children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing and a bottle of perfume, only like one quarter filled. Now, but she was trying to laugh and she exclaimed how pretty the bracelet was. So she did it for the sake of Teddy, and she tried putting it on and dabbing the perfume on her wrist. Now, Teddy stayed after school that day long enough to say to Mrs. Thompson that she really appreciated it. Mrs. Thompson, today you smelled just like my mom. Sorry. Uh, Sorry, guys. I think this is the first time I cried live. I wasn't expecting this because if I did, I would have read or shared to you the story. I just suddenly miss my mom. Sorry, Dana.
That's okay.
But anyway, yeah. While I was trying to read this book, and I've been reading this book, every time I read this, I would cry. But I didn't realize that sharing it with you here, that I'm gonna cry, and it's embarrassing.
No, it's not. It's a sad story. So maybe it would
Yeah,
have been embarrassing if you wouldn't show any emotion, right? It's like it's
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the children laughed, and she cried at least for an hour, and this is where the bond between Mrs. Thompson and Teddy started. So that was the very day she really quitted teaching, reading, writing, arithmetic. Instead, she began to really teach children. So there's a difference. Like in the beginning, she was just doing it for the motion, being a teacher, not really understanding her role as a teacher. But the moment she met Teddy, that was the time she really understood her job, like really teaching children. So this time, Mrs. Thompson paid attention, more focus on Teddy, and as she worked with him, his mind seems to come alive. So the more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. So by the end of the year, Teddy had become one of the brightest students in her class. And despite her lie that she would love all the children more, well, we all know who was her favorite, right? Even my favorite. And this is just a story. You see, in this book, this is the only chapter I would cry. Then I guess it's because I really miss my mom. And yeah, sometimes I could relate. So anyway, a year later, she found a note under her door from Teddy telling that she was still the best teacher he would ever have in his whole life. So 6 years after when, but before that, she got another note from Teddy. He wrote that he finished high school and he's the second in this class. So see the impact that she had on Teddy. and that she was still, by the way, the best teacher he ever had in his whole life. So 4 years after that, he got another letter saying that while things had been tough at times, he'd stayed in school, had stuck with it, and he'd soon be graduating from college with honors. And he assured Mrs. Thompson that she is still the best and his favorite teacher that he ever has in his whole life. Then 4 more years passed, and then another letter came. This time he explained that after he got his bachelor's degree, he decided to go a little farther, and the letter explained that she was still the best and favorite teacher he ever had. But now his name was a little longer. So the letter was signed Theodore F. Studdard, comma MD. And the story doesn't end there. You see, there was a letter, an additional letter that spring. Teddy said he met a girl and was going to get married. He explained that his father had died a couple of years ago, and he was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in place at the wedding as a reserve for his mother, the mother of the groom. So of course Mrs. Thompson did, and guess what? She wore that bracelet, the very bracelet with some missing rhinestone, and made sure that she was wearing the perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on their last Christmas together. So they hug each other, and Teddy Studdard whispered in Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you, Mrs. Thompson, for believing in me. Thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference." So Mrs. Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you." And this is where I see myself live, that I look awful. Yes, I survived. So I was able to read the story. And one of the most exciting decisions that you can make is to be able to look out for opportunities to invest in others. So, like the story of Mrs. Thompson, whether it's a fiction or a fact, I really don't care. But the moral of the story is that, with one thing that you do, a simple um, action that you do could create a ripple that could really create an effect. So for this, one of the most powerful principle of momentum that has been implemented in life, according to Ziglar, was you'll always have everyone you want in life if you'll help enough people to get what they want. So talagang it's more of like helping other people. Your purpose in life is really not all about you. And hi there, Aliwal. Thank you for always watching, and I'm sorry that you saw me cry live. So before I, continue crying, anything that you want to share about the story, Dana, before I cry more?
No, I try really hard not to cry with you. So, but it was a very touching story, right? A very sad story, and not sad just because he was missing his mom and his mom died. It just was sad, at least for me. I felt so sad thinking of how it took so many years for someone to really take a see the goodness in him and lend a hand, right? And thank God that the story ends the way it ends, because it could have turned very differently if Miss Thompson wouldn't have been there at the right moment, right? And didn't realize that she can do so much. So I think it's an amazing story. We are all children and moms, right? So we can relate with both the little boy and the teacher there, or the mom. And I just, well, I can say, I hope that my kids, although yeah, they have me, but they will find Miss Thompson in their life.
Yeah, I agree. According to William Ward, he said there are three keys to more abundant living. One is caring about others. Second is daring for others, and third is sharing with others. So yeah, that's actually good, and I do believe in that because I don't think we were made here just to enjoy, the life that we have just for us, just you. I think we were created to spread the love, the skills, the blessings that we have. So I have found that the truly great people have the unique perspective that greatness is not deposited in them to stay, but rather to flow. So it's actually to flow through them into others. And as Norman McEwan said, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So assign yourself the purpose of making others happy and successful. That should always be our aim, to always spread love, peace, and really not just focus on what do I get? What do I get if I help this person? What do I get out of the situation? Because it's like, if you're doing a good deed, people should not even know that you're doing a good deed. Like, because if you do that already, like, you're already rewarded here on earth, you know. But if you do it, like, even though your right hand wouldn't do what your left hand is doing, that where the reward really is, right? Like, nobody knows. And even just that feeling when you do something good, don't you realize, like if you do something good even without anybody knowing it, you just really feel light and happier. Well, that's what I usually experience when I do something
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's so
And
true, right? You do it to help the other person, but you get that feeling. So in a way, you can say you do it for yourself because you get that. And I agree with you, right? You get that fulfillment. That like, hey, you helped one person, so it's you get it back maybe more than that person that was helped in some ways.
yes, agree. And treat people as if they were what they ought to be and help them to become what they are really capable of becoming or being. Because sometimes someone just needs somebody to push them. Somebody just needs a simple hi, a simple smile, or encouragement. Especially nowadays, if you notice, like, people are so conscious with even likes. Like, people would like get mad or would even be envious of if somebody is getting so much likes in social media. I mean,
Yeah,
that's funny, let's face it, but it's the real thing. Like, people even like commit suicide based on that, like if people don't like how they look, you know and
yeah,
it's sad, it's depressing, but that's what's happening right now. People are more vain, people are more conscious of the outer things, outer looks, instead of really focusing what's inside, or instead of using what they have to help somebody else and encourage somebody else.
yeah.
So
I think we I don't know we it's great that we are so connected to each other, right? Like the fact that we can talk and but in the same time with all this connectivity it brings some other things which I feel it's very hard, especially for younger generation, to give others so much power in the sense that you care so much about other things about yourself that you pretend, you put fake images, or just so you seem happy when you are not, or you seem that you are somewhere in some other place on vacation when you are actually in your backyard. So we see this kind of putting so much power in a stranger's hand just for because we are all connected and it seems like everyone is happy, so I have to be happy too, right? So it's a bit of a sad part of being connected, right? The fact that everyone is competing with trying to keep it up with what it seems to be. And it's very hard to find that balance and to realize that the happiness is inside of you and you don't depend of the people around you to agree with you, or to but also it's like, since we talk about investing in others, right, to see when someone needs that help, and even when they don't see it or realizing, to invest in someone, to plant that seed into someone, and you'll see the results growing like Miss Thompson did, right? May not be immediate, although you'll see some results, I'm sure, immediate when you help someone, but to see it in time, and 10 years later to get a letter from the MD saying, hey, you are still the best teacher. So I think
Totally,
it's
totally agree.
in a way the fact that we are connected to reach out to people, and like to help people from other side of the world that may need help. But it's also hard because we get into this competition in some ways that are not always healthy, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's why I would encourage somebody out there, like anybody who's watching or anybody who is, lonely, in despair, having a depression, to always try to talk to someone rather than like keep or bottle up what they're feeling, because you don't know what's going on in your head, and sometimes because you're not thinking logically, you might be doing something that you're going to regret, or worse, like some people would really like, do it, and the next thing you know, they're in the headlines. So yeah, it's really important that we do, um, we're careful with what we say or what we do to others, and at the same time, if we feel that we're not okay, to go to someone, to tell someone, to reach out to someone and tell them that, I need help. Or if you're too proud to say you need help, at least tell them that, could you stay with me, could we talk, anything like that, to keep your mind off it. And then when you're ready, that's the time you could actually tell the person what's going on. You don't need to do it right now. What you just need to do is be there with someone, because no man is really an island, and there are two types of people in this world. When you go to into a room, there's this person who would say, hey, here I am, and there's also this person who would say, there you are. And you would know if a person is a good person, because that person would bring out the goodness in others, and they find happiness by helping others find their own happiness. And where I'm hoping that most people are the other person, the person who would like to look for someone in the room that they think they could help find the happiness that they have. So, a good deer bears interest, as they say. You cannot hold a light to another's path without even brightening your own. And yeah, that's totally true. Developing greatness in others, lift people up, don't put them down. And then there's this saying by Alan, I forgot his last name, McKinnings, I think. There is no more noble occupation in the world than to assist another human being. That's to help someone succeed. And according to Nelson Henderson, he said, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shades you do not expect to sit.
Yeah.
So the greatness of use for your life, or of your life, is to spend it for something, for someone that will outlast it. So if you cannot win, make the one ahead of you break the record. That's according to John McKeithen. So that's why I think, and I do 100% agree that we should invest in others, because it really pays dividend.
Yeah, and I think when you lift others up, you all also rise up, right? So, and is that also a ripple effect, right? You put a good thing, and that other person will feel the good thing that you did to them, and they will return it back and do it to someone else, and that eventually will return to you in 10 times further. So I think it's helping others will empower yourself anyway. Um, and I had there is a saying that there are two ways to bring the light: be the candle or be the mirror that reflects, right? So it's either by doing a good thing or reflecting, or uh, taking, or from one good thing that was done to you to taking forward and give it to do it for someone else. So investing in people, because I'm sure there is no one person in this world who can say like, hey, no one ever helped me, no one ever invested in me, right? We all had someone who helped us at some point, and sometimes it may be hard to see it. If you are, as you're saying, if you are down in a black hole, you may not see the good things in your life at that moment. So sometimes it may be hard to realize, but I think we all have things that we should, I keep telling my kids almost every day, count your blessings, find the good things in your life, because I'm sure we all have something to, hey, if nothing else, you are alive, you are breathing, so you should be thankful for that. But I'm sure you can start thinking, and there are many other things. So count your blessings and invest in other people, because that will bring you out from, even if you don't have a good day. So don't wait for your best day to help others. That was my point.
So yeah, so true. Thank you very much for that insightful share, Dana. And I totally agree. Yeah. Always, always, always be thankful. Like every day, the moment that you wake up, the first thing that you should be doing is to be thankful. Thank you for being alive. That's one thing.
Yep.
Yeah. For the air that you breathe, for the bed that you just, you just used, for the roof. And also at the end of the day, that's also something that we should constantly be doing. It should be a good habit forming, and that's by being grateful. And with that, I don't want to take much of the time. We still do have 3 minutes because it's usually like 30 minutes. So with that, Dana, can you share more about, like, we're talking about investment anyway. So let me ask you, why did you join the digital business? What made you join? What made you invest?
Yeah. Well, for me was definitely investing on my future, right? So I do have a good life. I do have a good income, but it's always reliant on that paycheck, right? If that stops tomorrow, then oops, what do you do? And I didn't want uh, to live my life with relying totally on others. And we know how things change, and you don't have any power over it. So I really wanted that safety net, that plan B, that will give me that I have power over it, right? That I can decide on how much I invest and how much I work. And I wanted a business that I can do on the side for now, where I still have my work. And this business, it checked all the boxes for me, right? It provides you all the training, everything, because I had no idea about marketing or business. Like, I'm a technical person, but I don't know anything about running a business. So the fact that it comes with all the training step by step, it teaches you what it means to run this business, and the fact that it's all online. So as long as you have an internet, can be done from anywhere, right? So it's and you don't have to be physically somewhere. You can do it 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, like we do it now, right? Like I take half an hour, I do a live, then I go back to my work, then I take another 10, 15 minutes, maybe listen to a podcast. So the fact that you can fit the business around your life, not the other way around. Uh, the flexibility, it was for me like, yes, this is the type of business I want to do. And the fact that it's not only a business, yes, it's not one of those that you'll see the results maybe in the first week, right? Get quick rich scheme, definitely not. You have to put some effort, but it's a serious business. Invest in your future, and you can leave it as a to your kids, they continue. So for me it was like, wow. So it's like, I cannot give my diploma to my kids, they'll have to do their own, right? I work hard for that, but I
Right.
cannot give it to them. But this business, yes, I can work hard for it, and then at some point it's like, hey, now it's yours, you take it further. So yeah, for me was just getting that safety net for my family, and hopefully retire early. I don't want to work until my 70. I still want to be able to travel, to do all the things that I'm doing right now without having to still have my 9 to 5 job.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And yeah, you really put the a great perspective in there. Like I totally forgot about that one. That particular one wherein you say you cannot pass on your certificate, you cannot pass on your profession, to your kids. Like the reason for me that I joined this is because yeah, the business, you can pass it on to your next kin or to anybody that you want it to
Yeah.
have. Like even if you don't have kids, you could pass it on to some, like your favorite niece, your nephew.
Yeah.
But totally, like, yeah, that's a good relationship or comparison. Like when, like, for example, I'm also an engineer. I could not transfer that my degree to my son, but I'm sure that I can transfer this business to my son. And yeah, that's something that I really like about the business. You don't even need any selling skills. You don't need any marketing skills. You don't even need to be tech savvy. Imagine that.
Yeah.
No work experience needed. And the company that we've been working together has been there for 50 years. Imagine that. And it's a top caliber, a high ticket product and everything, and you don't even need to sell the product, so that's even nice. And if you do want to know more about what Dana and I are talking about, just simply reach out to us. You can see my website, and Dana can also put her website. She can type it there, and to those followers that she have, you guys can follow Dana. If you're curious to know more about the business that we have, we're more than happy to guide you. We're not going to force you, by the way. We do offer a free webinar, or even we could show you a video that you could watch at a convenient time for you, and you decide. And in fact, we do have this 30-day money back guarantee, wherein if you want, like to test and see the company that we associate ourselves with, just to see if this is really a reliable company. Because like I said, it's been in the industry for more than 50 years, and that's the best time to try and see, because the investment that you have there would have a money back guarantee in the first 30 days. So if you don't like it, because this business is not for everybody, then you can just simply, I don't think this is for me, so you could get your money back. But then again, how would you know if you don't try, right? So
Yeah.
with that,
Nothing to lose, right? It's you get
yeah.
your money back. You just and you learn something new, right? Even if you decide it's not for you, I'm sure you'll get out of it with something new that you learn. So
And yeah. And what I really like about this company, aside from all the things that Dana mentioned earlier, is the community.
oh yeah,
Like I mentioned in the beginning of this live, we didn't know each other. We only knew each other through this business, and we're even like miles apart.
yep.
So yeah, we help.
Talking about investing in other, right, and having a community that will invest in you, then this is the perfect way, right? You have people that will support you from across the globe. What else
Yeah,
can you wish more?
and and even people you don't even know, you just knew about them through the business. And see, Dana invested in me by joining me live, and I'm totally doing that with others as well. So it's always paying forward, and it's always nice to meet a new friend. And really looking forward to seeing you more, Dana. With me
Same
this
here.
time or
Thank
next
you.
time, telling a funny story. No crying anymore.
Yes. Next time we'll do a party one.
Yeah, please. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me,
Thank you
Dana. I
for having
appreciate
me.
it. And to everyone, hey, my my very special, close to my heart business partner is also going. I hope you're better now, and I hope you didn't see me cry. Shout out from Maryland. Yeah, thank you for dropping by. And with that, thank you everyone for joining us, for joining me and Dana, and always be thankful and grateful for whatever you have. And I hope you guys have a happy Friday and a great weekend. God bless you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.